It's your boy, Molotovzilla, back again. Today we are investigating Black Lives Matter. But before we do, the boys over in the Politburo legal department advised me to make a statement. This video is critical of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, not the social movement. Charities are not a protected class. I am in fact just some idiot on the internet, and you should do your own research before coming to any conclusion. All right, comrades, back to the video. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation was formed in 2013 in reaction to the death of Trayvon Martin in Florida. The founding members were friends and activists Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi. In the early years, the distinction between the decentralized Black Lives Matter social movement and the formal Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation was murky, primarily due to a lack of centralization or major funding. The movement at this point was a loosely connected network with a shared cause. Despite this, BLM GNF claimed to represent the entire movement. They own blacklivesmatter.com, credit themselves with creating the hashtag, and have greatly benefited by conflating their organization with the broader movement. So I will use this conflation to make my job easier. Going forward, when I say BLM, I'm referring to the 501c3 Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. The organizational goals have been consistent since their formation, as we can see from their website in 2014, seeking justice for impacted families, advocating for reforms to policing and the justice system, and pushing for the defunding of police departments nationwide, suggesting the money should instead go to lifting up Black communities in lieu of policing them. BLM spent these early years establishing offices across the country, like a Black Tyler Durden flying around setting up franchises. Tyrone Durden, if you will.
This guy stinks!
Producer, cut that out. Cut that out. Whenever there was another police shooting, BLM would be there, organizing, protesting, and making themselves known to the media. In 2016, the centralization begins to take shape when BLM partners with edX to accept donations. At this time, BLM was not a registered charity and could not accept public donations. This partnership with edX would streamline the fundraising process. The same year, they announced a 6-year funding goal of $100 million, and according to various sources, including Fox, they secured $33 million in funding from the Soros-backed Open Society Foundation. This is such a frustrating topic to research because if you look up Soros-funded BLM now, fact check false, he did not give $33 million to Black Lives Matter. He gave $33 million to the Black Lives Matter movement, which is, okay, sure, yeah. Anyways, BLM may or may not have secured a significant amount of money from George Soros, depending on what year your facts come from. By 2017, BLM boasts that they have over 40 chapters set up across the US, and then in May 2020, something happened that would change the fate of Black Lives Matter forever.
George Floyd's arrest and death in police custody on Monday set off protests in the Twin Cities.
Too much. We're changing the world.
George Floyd's death and the resulting protests took over the media for weeks. It's really difficult to overstate how much of a cultural sensation this was. We had just started the virus lockdowns a few months prior. People were stuck at home, scared, and unable to work or socialize. And then this event happens, and suddenly everyone has an outlet for all of their anxiety and anger. But none of that really matters for this video. What matters is the publicity. This is possibly the greatest viral marketing campaign in history. It's estimated that up to 26 million people participated in the BLM protest, all of them shouting, "If you're an organization with that same name who needs donations, this is a dream come true." One small problem though, BLM was still not a registered charity that could accept donations. They quickly filed with the IRS, but they do not receive approval until December of 2020. This doesn't actually matter, I just wanted to show off how much research I did. The money starts pouring in. Everyone wants to support this cause, but donating to charities isn't always straightforward. Which organization is the best? Who's doing meaningful work? Who can actually be trusted?
Just give me my money.
Normally people do a little research before donating, but in 2020 this process was hijacked by the overwhelming social proof of millions chanting. The name alone became synonymous with justice and change, leading people to completely turn their brains off. It wasn't just individuals either. The surplus elites who staff companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon began pressuring their employers to step up. In this era, corporations can't simply focus on profits and shareholder value. They need to be activists. And so, the tech giants joined in, funneling millions more into the movement. But in their rush to virtue signal, some made embarrassing mistakes. BuzzFeed reported that employees at Apple, Google, and Microsoft raised and donated over $4 million, not to Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, but to the Black Lives Matter Foundation. a completely unrelated pro-police organization with a similar name. Most of this money was frozen and eventually returned, but the fiasco underscores how insane everyone was to throw money at BLM. By the end of fiscal year 2020, BLM reported raising a staggering $79.6 million. It was a historic windfall, and this is when the real fun begins. Before we get into the money, we need to talk about BLM leadership real quick. By 2020, Patrisse Cullors was the last remaining founding member in an executive position. Opal Tomodi left early in the organization's history. Alicia Garza was still involved, but not in a management capacity. Another activist named Callie Scales joined BLM in 2017 as the managing director, but left in August of 2020, according to her LinkedIn. I'm not going to say she left under suspicious circumstances because that would be conjecture. I will just state a fact, which is BLM paid her $254,000 as part of a severance package, and she does not publicly talk about the details of why she left. So do with that information what you will. With Callie gone, Patrisse Cullors has completely consolidated power. She controls an $80 million bank account with zero oversight. And if you think I'm being hyperbolic, let's let BLM describe the situation. This is taken directly from their 990 tax filing. The board consisted of one voting director. As such, no board meetings were held during the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
I actually did not know what 990s were.
In this chart, I have summarized all the unusual transactions. I'm not implying anything illegal happened, I'm just highlighting the most interesting transactions. First, let's go for the low-hanging fruit, related party transactions. In 2020, only one spend is listed. That's either great news or it means they're obscuring the truth. $841,000 to a man named Paul Cullors for security services. That name might sound familiar. The sole woman in charge of this organization is named Patrisse Cullors. Paul Cullors is her brother. That's not good. That's bad. Well, certainly this is just a coincidence, and he's been running a security company for years, right? No. The company, Cullors Protection, was founded in July of 2020, right when the money started coming in. Well, let's see what Paul was doing before he created a security company. Maybe he has some experience.
My name is Paul Cullors, and art's always fun to freestyle.
Another detail that I've not seen widely reported. The address for Cullors Protection LLC with the state registry is a residential home. I'm redacting the address for obvious reasons. This home was listed for sale in December of 2020, 6 months after the founding of his company and receiving an $840,000 check from his sister. Am I claiming that Patrisse gave her brother $840,000 and he used that money to purchase a new home? Absolutely not. I would never claim something like that. Never. I am merely pointing out that temporally, the events happened in an interesting order. Big fan of time on this channel. But don't worry. Patrisse is here to clarify the situation.
While my brother is the head of security and my mom and sister did work at the property, there are also dozens of other people who work in the organization.
This clip is so crazy. Like, no one accused you of only hiring family members. The issue is that you hired any of them. And like, I get it, nepotism exists everywhere, but you're like a charity. You need to understand the optics. Optics is your whole business. She goes on to imply that if you question her, it's because you're fighting for white supremacy, which we absolutely are on this channel, just to be clear.
Oh wait, wrong hat. Wrong hat.
Well, that ends all the related party transactions for 2020. Nothing else to see here. Wait a second, what's this? $2.1 million to an independent contractor named Bowers Consulting. That's a lot of money, and that name sounds familiar again. On the first page of the tax filings, we can see that the form is signed by a man named Shalomyah Bowers, who is listed as the board secretary.
They can't be this sloppy. They can't be this sloppy. There's no way.
No, they absolutely are that sloppy. From the BLM website, we have this. Mr. Bowers began his tenure with the organization in 2020. And as we can see on the Bowers Consulting website, the company founder is Shalomyah Bowers. I love this website. They forgot to update the Squarespace favicon, so it still shows the default gray cube. What? $2 million in consulting fees, and they can't run their own Squarespace website. Nuts. Why this obviously related party transaction is not listed correctly in the tax filing is unclear, but they transferred $2.1 million in donations to a company owned by the board secretary. I'm actually tempted to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. The one acceptable use for consulting companies, in my experience, is when a large project kicks off faster than you're able to onboard people. In this case, the BLM organization was completely unprepared for the massive inflows of money and media attention in 2020. It would make sense that they hired some consultants to support while they ramped up internal hiring. However, as the years progress, the funding to Bowers Consulting remains relatively stable, actually peaking in 2023. That would seem to indicate that they have externalized all business operations to this consulting firm owned by a board member. At this point, BLM is just a brand. The employees who operate the machine are sitting inside a Bowers consulting office. Next, we have $969,000 to a company called Trap Heels. Trap Heels is, honestly, I can't really tell what they are. From what I can see, Trap Heels sells $65 t-shirts and runs a YouTube channel with 130 subscribers. Let's just let Trap Heels describe what they do. As a family of passionate artists, we're dedicated to making a difference in any way we can, whether advocating for policy changes or amplifying the voices of activist jargon is a marvel of the modern world. Like, the ratio of words to information conveyed is the stuff of legend. Things get a bit more interesting when we look at who owns Trap Heels, a man named Damon Turner.
We about to free our people. Fuck up Benjamin Franklin. This is my declaration.
Okay. On his LinkedIn, we can see his time at Trap Heels and BLM, but he also lists himself as a co-founder of BLM in 2013. That's interesting. So BLM and Damon Turner seem to go way back. As reported by the Associated Press, Fox, the New York Post, and others, Damon Turner and Patrisse Cullors have a child together. Patrisse gave her baby daddy's company $1 million of donation money. I'm not even offended by how blatantly evil this self-dealing is. I'm appalled by the incompetence of it. There are like 10 obvious ways to hide this better. At this point, you might be thinking, wow, this is a complete dumpster fire. It gets worse. It gets so much worse. How about the $73,000 spent on chartered flights for the year? For people who don't know, a charter is just renting a private jet. And the justification in their 990 is tip-top. Charter travel for the executive director was incurred due to security and during the COVID pandemic. Wait, so which is it? Is it security or is it pandemic? It's kind of a weak argument that you can't fly commercial due to the virus when you're flying to a demonstration with thousands of people. Don't worry, it's all above board though. The executive director's travel was officially approved by the executive director. Would you believe me if I told you that BLM spent $14 million on 2 mansions? Let's do the Toronto mansion first. In the 990,
The term 990s, I'm like, ugh, it's like triggering.
under the Statement of Activities Outside the United States section, we can see a transfer of $8 million to North America. The New York Post reported that this transfer was to a Canadian group called M4BJ. That's the Movement for Black Justice. The M4BJ profile on charity data seems to match, showing a 2021 revenue of $8.2 million. Then in 2022, we can see that their land and building assets jumped from $0 to $8.4 million. Fox reports that M4BJ procured a 10,000 square foot mansion in Toronto that was previously headquartered by the Canadian Communist Party. Patrisse actually claims to be a Marxist, but that's outside the scope of this video. And who runs this charity? A woman named Janaya Khan, the wife of Patrisse Cullors.
Gotcha.
We need a solid 5 minutes of silence to just let that one sink in. BLM, under the sole direction of Patrisse Cullors, gave $8 million to a Canadian civil rights group that her wife was running. Her wife then used that money to buy a mansion. But don't worry, comrades. They're putting that mansion to good use as an art and activist center. You can even rent spaces for events. You want a 150 square foot room? That'll be $285 for the day. Keep in mind, this building was purchased entirely with donations from the public. If $285 feels steep to you, don't worry, there's a race-based discount available. Wild Seed is proud to offer Black businesses, Black people, Black nonprofits, and grassroots groups a discount ranging from 80 to 90% on an as-needed basis. Non-Black businesses and corporations must pay full price. How is that legal? How is that legal, man? That's not legal? Come on. The good rule of thumb with these weird race-based programs is to invert them and see if they still make sense. So the real rental rate is $28 for the day, but if you're not Black, you have to pay a 1,000% markup. That's what this website is saying. This is what your BLM donations are going to. Not to saving lives, but building Nepo fiefdoms for activist royalty. BLM isn't a charity, it's a medieval kingdom complete with a ruling class defined by blood ties, marriage alliances, and racial purity. And the genius of this whole empire, it's all funded by the coastal elite swiping their credit cards in performative white guilt. It's a race-grifting empire wrapped in the protective cloak of dead Black people.
Daddy, chill.
In my opinion, of course, don't sue me. We have now reached our final stop for 2020, the LA Mansion. We can see under the disregarded entities section that there is a $6 million line item for real estate.
This 990 structure, this nonprofit system structure, this is like
deeply unsafe.
Disregarded entity sounds confusing, but in this case, it's just an LLC owned by the charity. The mansion was a well-kept secret through 2020 and 2021. The first in-depth investigation comes from a New York Magazine article in April of 2022. The mansion is described as 6,500 square feet, more than half a dozen bedrooms and bathrooms, several fireplaces, a soundstage, a pool, bungalows, and parking for more than 20 cars. The California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash in October 2020 with money that had been donated to BLM GNF. Remember, 2020 is a period when Patrice had complete control over the finances. The author of the article goes on to state, the transaction has not been previously reported, and Black Lives Matter leadership had hoped to keep the house's existence a secret. And somehow, the author of this article, Sean Campbell, gained access to the internal emails of the BLM management team. On March 30th, he reached out to them for comment and watched the internal panic unfold in real time. Can we kill the story?
The ownership of
potentially
the property.
as an influencer
First,
house.
make sure it's legally okay to use.
Again, I'm not even shocked by the grift. I am staggered by the incompetence of these people. They purchased the house in October of 2020. The reporter reaches out to them in March of 2022. They had 17 months to come up with a good story. Nothing. There was huge internal and external backlash when this purchase became public. BLM issued a statement on their website in an attempt to mollify the situation. This statement is, man, this is something special. $2.1 million in consultants, and this is what you get. There have been a lot of questions surrounding recent reports about the purchase of a property in California. We wanted to take a moment to address you and our community as a whole directly. Okay, good start. This property serves as an opportunity for us as Black people to own our land interest-free and unencumbered by any white corporate establishment. It is amazing that anyone would question us for wanting to own property, as the real estate market nationwide has increased in value significantly over the past 18 months.
Oh my God. Oh.
There's so much here to unpack. What white corporate establishment are you talking about? Are you talking about a mortgage? Is this a jab at the Semites? It's so defensive too. Why would anyone question this purchase when real estate value is going up? What are you talking about? No one is questioning your investing acumen, but instead of being lauded as making smart, diversified investment decisions so we can control and define our destinies, our movement is chastised and vilified. The double standard and embedded racism is clear.
It's time for another episode of That's Racist!
Hey, they did the meme. Dude, nobody cares if you're Black. They care that you have a secret mansion. This is not that complicated. They go on to claim that the house is for creators and art, whatever. So I emailed them and I asked if I could use it. Here's the email I sent. Hello, I am a gay autistic immigrant from Pakistan. I was wondering if it is possible for me to use the facility at the Creator House. I donated most of my savings to BLM in 2020, so I do not have any money left to rent office space. I hope you can help me. Thank you. Regards, Mohammed. They did not respond to my request. And you know what? If BLM can call people racist for questioning their mansion, then I can too. I, Molotov, in the year of our Lord 2024, am being oppressed by the Black activist establishment at BLM. They saw my humble request to use their mansion, and they rejected me because I'm gay and I'm from Pakistan. The embedded hatred of gay people, Muslims, and people with disabilities is clear. Isn't that fun? Now you can sue me. Meanwhile, we got to see a whole mainstream media cope cycle in real time. You know the one I'm talking about, right? This one. We have, it's not happening. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory. It might be happening. It is happening, and it's good. As you can probably imagine, this press release did not really help the situation. BLM was already under significant scrutiny before this bombshell dropped. The lovely Patrice resigned in 2021, 1 month after the New York Post ran a story claiming she purchased an additional 4 luxury homes totaling $3.4 million between 2016 and 2021. BLM denies that any of their funds were used to purchase these properties, and based on their track record of honesty and sound financial practices, I see no reason to doubt them. This is really when the whole movement starts to unravel. The very people BLM claims to be standing up for begin publicly speaking out against them. Let's hear the complaints directly from these white supremacists.
What do you want from Black Lives Matter at this point?
I want them to pack up all their bags and buy one of them big ass limos they be going partying in and shit, and make sure they pick up every member that they know globally and ride y'all ass out into the sunset. I'm trying to bring
I feel vindicated, because 2 years ago I said that this organization was a disingenuous scam, and it has proven itself to be a disingenuous scam.
Is that they getting paid off the death of our children. They don't care about our children dying out here on the streets. All they care about is they gonna get a bigger paycheck. And it's sad on all levels.
And this next clip requires a bit of context. The woman speaking runs Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is a boots-on-the-ground division of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. She was close to Patrice, and she's been with the organization since the early days.
The Global Network Foundation is in the hands of a highly paid consultant. We distinguish ourselves from them, that we are separate from them, but we're also suing them. We filed a lawsuit this morning. A usurper, one of these highly paid consultants named Shalomia Bowers, logged us out of our own social media and is now using consultants to post, is using our work and the names of our loved ones to enrich himself.
That's right, BLM is suing itself. The lawsuit was dismissed by the judge, and BLM went on to congratulate themselves and to claim that all of their actions are vindicated. They're being very sneaky with how they structure this press release. They're combining a fact and their opinion onto the same line. The judge dismissed the allegations, okay, that part is true, but they go on to say it was not true, as if the judge declared that. That is not what happened. The judge did not declare anything true or untrue. I read the whole report from the judge. All he said was that they did not provide sufficient evidence to prove the self-dealing claims. We can speed run the 2021 and 2022 financials. It's just more of the same. With Patrice gone, they fire her brother and hire a real security company. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They hired Paul Cullors directly for $200,000 a year and contracted a new security company that he also owns. They gave them $3.2 million. BLM awards Bowers Consulting an additional $4.3 million. Another $770,000 to Trap Heels, the company owned by Patrice's baby daddy. They pay out $700,000 to 2 former employees as part of a severance package. And they also hired a new consulting firm called New Impact Partners. This firm is owned by the sister of a board member. They gave them $2 million. So actually, absolutely nothing changed. In the latest annual filings we have, BLM awarded $642,000 in grants, like the actual charity work, and they incurred $9.7 million in other expenses. A large chunk of that $10 million going to the usual family members, baby daddies, and vampiric consulting companies. That's more than a 10-to-1 ratio of expenses to charity. So if you give your money to BLM at this point, it's going directly to the consultants. You want to see a video of Patrice huffing her own farts and drinking champagne at the mansion? She's the fat one.
The hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine. Just leveraging literally all its weight against me. It's because we're powerful, because we are winning. It's because we are threatening the establishment, we're threatening white supremacy.
Alright, this is getting serious. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
So what does BLM actually do? It's not clear, if I'm being honest. In 2020, they did give $26 million in grants to other foundations and local branches of BLM, which is good, I guess. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I don't understand how charities work, but it's weird to me that charities just give money to other charities. Like, at what stage do the shovels actually hit the dirt and something happens? Every charity has consultants and baby daddies and staff who need to be paid. From what I can find online, 15 to 25% is considered like the normal admin cost. So every time this money moves from one charity to another, a quarter of it is taken by consultant. Let's just go to the BLM impact report and we can hear it directly from them. It's actually weirdly hard to find this impact report. I can't find it through their site navigation. I have to Google it and then be linked directly to it. Wow. They have one report on their website. $2.1 million in consulting fees. No, wait, we're in 2024 now. Let me add up all the consulting fees. Hold on one second. $8.5 million in consulting fees, and you have one 2-year-old impact report on your website. That is just, wow. All right, let's just look at policy. Okay, they ended qualified immunity, they defunded the police, and they got reparations approved. Wow, maybe I'm wrong about BLM. But the devil is in the details, you see. In March 2022, BLM GNF joined a press conference in support of ending qualified immunity. In August of 2021, the Senate unanimously passed an amendment to the budget resolution that would penalize local governments in their efforts to defund the police. Wait, so the opposite of what you want happened? We made it known that our stance and support was betrayed. Okay, so you tweeted. On the first anniversary of Juneteenth's designation as a federal holiday, we reiterated our continued push for reparations. Okay, so you tweeted again. This impact report reads like a kid trying to fake a report on a book he didn't read. Class, quiet down. BLM, come to the front of the class and present your report. We continue to participate in a coalition of several movement organizations mobilizing around a piece of legislation. What does that mean? What did you do with the fucking money? Guys, I cannot overstate how catastrophic this is. This charity raised $90 million, and they have faced relentless criticism for their lack of transparency. The impact report is their one opportunity to showcase tangible outcomes and to prove that they are a virtuous organization. Yet there's one impact report on their website. It's 2 years old, and it's packed with meaningless consultant speak. Not a single measurable positive outcome. This is unforgivable. Actually, there is one outcome that's measurable. I was able to find their 2020 impact report, which means that my MacBook hard drive currently contains more information than their official website. In their report, they proudly claim to have secured commitments totaling $170 million in police department budget cuts. And to their credit, beyond just the financial figure, they did succeed in bringing the concept of police defunding into the mainstream discourse. Let's just see how that turned out. In 2020, Austin, Texas reduced their police budget by 1/3. In 2021, the homicide rate nearly doubled. In 2023, Austin, Texas refunded their police department with a new record high budget. Okay, but let's look at black people specifically, because the whole point of BLM is to stop black people from getting murdered, right? It would be insane if $90 million in donations led to more black people dying. When we look at the homicide rate by race per 100,000 people, we can see this. 2019 to 2020, the national homicide rate for black people increased by nearly 50%. This surge persisted through 2022. In contrast, the other racial groups only had minor increases during the same period. That trend translates to approximately 5,000 additional black murder victims annually, resulting in 15,000 excess deaths over 3 years. That is horrifying. I mean, obviously I cannot blame BLM for the deaths of 15,000 people, as tempting as it is, but it's extremely clear that they did not have a positive impact on black lives. This is why their website doesn't contain any real data on how they improved the lives of black Americans. If the homicide rates were down by 50%, it would be on the front page of their website. Their new logo would just be a picture of the line going down, and they would claim to be the saviors of the black race. Anyways, I have a big announcement to make. I have been inspired by Patrice Cullors and Shamalama Ding Dong Bowers to create my own charity. Today, I am honored to be announcing the Molotov Foundation for Black people and kids with that cleft lip thing, and like dogs with kidney stones and fruit equity. Our goal is to raise $6.5 million so I can buy this beachfront mansion in southern Spain. Wait, hear me out. I will do absolutely nothing for charity, that is true, but I give you my word, we will have no impact on the murder rate in the United States. So that's actually a better outcome than BLM at a 90% discount. Dude, I'll even let you guys come and stay with me. This thing has like a guest house and an infinity pool, it's amazing. You try and visit the BLM mansion, see what happens. Go. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Drop a comment, I read all of them, I respond to most. Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, check out the Patreon, check out the merch. If not, I'll keep making videos, just keep watching them. Just enjoy, man. I love you. I'll see you next time.